Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and the BBC just confirmed we're getting a 2015 Sherlock Christmas special. I know you all wanted to get a Christmas special this year, but Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman are way too busy. But since we do have an actual date for whenever Setlock is going to be happening again, I'm going to be doing some special Sherlock bonus videos whenever we get to December, especially around the Doctor Who Christmas special, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. December's going to be like a month for Doctor Who and Sherlock. It'll be great. So here's the details. Cumberbatch and Freeman will film the 2015 Christmas special this coming January 2015 that is. Later in 2015, they'll film the 3 new episodes for Series 4. Those will air January 2016, so it's just like Series 3. We get a Christmas special leading into a new series. It's going to be awesome. So yes, it is a bummer that we won't be getting new episodes for almost a year and a half, but do not forget about Setlock. If you're not familiar with the term, it defines a group of fans that patrol the set of Sherlock whenever they're filming. It's part of the fandom that camps out and live tweets pictures and updates Tumblr posts whenever actual production is happening. So if you really enjoy talking to other Sherlock fans, Setlock is more of like a World Cup for you than the actual World Cup. I will be making special videos while Setlock is going on in addition to the stuff I'm going to be doing in December. So we'll have Setlock going on in January 2015 whenever they film the Christmas special, and then again during the spring and summer whenever they're filming the actual episodes. When they filmed Sherlock Series 3, what ended up happening is they filmed 2 episodes, and then they had to go on a break, and then come back and film the 3rd episode much later in the year. That was because Martin Freeman had to go back and finish filming The Hobbit. They came back in August to film that 3rd episode, His Last Vow, and it all worked out. So don't be surprised if something like that happens again, but I think they're going to try and film all 3 episodes back to back. It's way harder when they're making television to just do a little bit of it and then go away and try and bring everyone back from all over the world and try and do that last little bit. It takes about 3 months for them to film, edit, and finish an episode, so they're going to have to finish all the filming of Series 4 by the end of August if they're going to make the January 1st air date and be able to release a new episode every week. That's been the schedule in the past, so I think that they're going to maintain that when we get to Series 4. They're just going to air the first episode January 1st, and then each week after that. The only big change that's happened since Series 3 is that they've shortened the international window that people have to wait. So if you live in an outside country, you won't have to wait as long to see the episodes. For example, in the United States, instead of airing on BBC America like Doctor Who, Sherlock airs on PBS. And for whatever reason, they still have to wait a few weeks to air the episodes after they air on BBC One. So if you do want to watch Sherlock at the earliest possible time, you either have to watch it on BBC One or in the iPlayer. That can be kind of tricky if you don't live in the UK, but I will explain some suggestions for non-UK people whenever we get there. It's like a year and a half away, so do not worry. So now let's talk a little bit about what the story of the Christmas special is going to be, because they did use that Andrew Scott picture at the end of His Last Vow. There's a couple of directions they could go. The series has jumped forward and backward in time, teased alternate versions of scenes like the rooftop fall, and it's even gone full-on Mind Palace where Sherlock plays out whole scenes just in his mind. Plus, we have to remember the state we left things in at the end of His Last Vow, like Mycroft rescinding Sherlock's exile, and how the previous Christmas special dealt with that jump in time between Series 2 and 3. I am expecting the period of time between Series 3 and Series 4 to be about the same. At the end of His Last Vow, Mary was pregnant with girl Sherlock. We'll just call her that for now. Watson and Sherlock seemed like they were in a much more stable place emotionally, and Sherlock himself seemed much more accepting of his survival odds on the Black Ops mission, and Mycroft as well. The understanding was that Sherlock probably was not going to survive past 6 months. I do suspect that Mycroft would have found a way to extract Sherlock again, just like he did at the beginning of Empty Hearse. I think if Sherlock had gone through with the mission they gave him, we would have seen the exact same type of scenario play out. You know, Mycroft casually revealing himself as Sherlock gets ready to be tortured. I think that Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss are really good at teasing things and then yanking you in the other direction, which is why they, put Sherlock on the plane, but then showed you Moriarty's face. There are a couple big things I think are going to happen during the in-between time, and the Series 4 Christmas special will probably be just like the Series 3 Christmas special. It won't pick up right there on the tarmac. It's going to jump forward in time a little bit. I think the most obvious thing that means is that Mary will have had her baby already. She was pretty much ready to pop on the tarmac right there. I do hope the special ends up showing the baby, and if we do see the birth, I think it's going to be done in flashback. I feel like the naming of the baby will be something that they include too. They'll just end the special at the point where they can start that first episode in Series 4 where they're like this happy little family, 2 people with 2 babies, like one real small one and one big grumpy one. So what about the mystery of the Moriarty clip playing on all the screens over London? If they jump forward in time, they'll likely have generated a list of suspects that Sherlock and Mycroft will be vetting, probably mostly Sherlock. I love seeing Mycroft out in the field during Series 3, but that was a huge deal. His character in the books would have never done that. In the books, Mycroft seems more like the kind of person who would never leave his office or the Diogenes Club for anything, even Sherlock. Gatiss' version of the character seems much friendlier in contrast, if not friendly in general, at least when he's around Sherlock. So I already did a Series 4 predictions video talking about stories they might be able to do, like Valley of Fear, Lady Frances Carfax, Dying Detective, Red-Headed League. Those could be the basis of full episodes, but what's the story of the Christmas special going to be? Last year's special was just like a short video. I don't really consider it an episode. The BBC didn't reveal how long the special would be, but it sounds like it's going to be somewhere in between, just because they'll have to address the Moriarty clip and the baby. I don't think they're going to use it to set up the main villain or any of the big stories they're going to do for each of the episodes, but I do have a few ideas on who that villain could be. The only thing the BBC has said officially is that it's someone or something that fans will never expect, and I do have a few theories about that. Right away, it makes me think they're going to bring back Andrew Scott full on, and he'll play the true Moriarty, and they'll just reveal that the Moriarty from series 1 and 2 was the brother. In case you're confused about this, in the canon, Arthur Conan Doyle was not super great at coming up with new names for characters. So, Professor Moriarty, the arch-villain of the books, had a brother named Colonel James Moriarty. So why they were both named James Moriarty, we have no idea, but one was Professor and one was Colonel. It could have been because Doyle didn't care enough to come up with a better name, or it could have just been an oversight, but if they do want to use him, Moffat and Gatiss have a spare James Moriarty lying around in the canon. So in case you haven't seen any of the interviews with Gatiss and Moffat, they draw on all Sherlock canon, or I guess you could say they canonize all things Sherlock, so it's not just the books. They also included a bunch of stuff from Basil Rathbone's Sherlock, as well as the radio plays. Doctor Who fans will remember that Moffat did the same thing for the Doctor Who 50th Anniversary special. He canonized the radio dramas, the Doctor Who radio dramas, whenever Paul McGann's 8th Doctor called out a bunch of names of the radio characters during the Night of the Doctor mini-episode. It was really cool. So whenever you start theory crafting about Sherlock Series 4, make sure you think about all things Sherlock, not just the original books. A couple of villains they could use might include the true version of Colonel Moran. Gatiss actually changed the book character and gave his name to the politician in Empty Hearse, so technically you could say he wasn't the real Colonel Moran. Then there's Henry Peter from the Lady Carfax story, Rene Heron, Fantomas, and Van Bork. They could also do the same thing that they did in Empty Hearse, where they take a character's name and just mix and match with villains. I know a lot of Doctor Who fans argue that Moffat gets timey-wimey with Doctor Who canon, but whenever it comes to Sherlock, they are pretty faithful to their big villain characters. It's usually just the lesser characters that they mess around with. Billy Wiggins is actually a good example of that. He's the combination of two characters from the books. There was a Billy character and a Wiggins character. Billy was Holmes' pageboy featured in Valley of Fear, and Wiggins was the leader of Holmes's Baker Street Irregulars. But now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments, what are you most excited to see in these new Sherlock episodes? And let me know what your theories are on that Moriarty clip. So I won't have time to do a Q&A for this, so I'll just try and answer everyone in the comments if you have questions. But I will be doing a bunch of Sherlock in December when we get closer to the Doctor Who Christmas special, and when they actually start filming the Sherlock Christmas special in January. So it'll be a lot of fun. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. There is a whole lot of Doctor Who stuff coming though. Series 8 is premiering in August, so get excited about that. Right now, click here to get my breakdown of the Series 8 trailer, and click here to get all my Sherlock Series 4 predictions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. High fives.